About 8,000 horsepower, ladies and gentlemen, on the hook.
My name's Vern Rayburn, and we're from Scottsdale, Arizona. I have a company called the Constellation Group, and what we do is operate old airplanes, but specifically what we do is we operate this Constellation here behind us, the C-121a. We started restoring this airplane about 5 years ago, bought her about 8 years ago, and have been working on her ever since. So only 2 Connies flying today.
Well, that is a pretty sight, isn't it?
The nose is pretty interesting. As you can see, it's a really long nose gear. And that was something that was unique to the Connie because of the large props that they had to use. They really put a super long gear on it. You can see right here on the front, these are the hydraulic steering cylinders. So the gear is hydraulically steered. So the captain sits up in the left seat and he has a little wheel down by his knee. When he's on the ground, he uses that wheel instead of the control wheel. The tires actually cant in, sort of like an old Farmall International Harvester tractor, and that's so that the aircraft, when it loses hydraulic power, the wheels are actually self-straightening by tilted in like that. Also allows the aircraft to turn extremely sharply. So when we get that nose gear all the way canted over, it's actually riding on just one tire, the other one's up in the air, and it lets us turn almost within the wing width, the wingspan of the aircraft. We're under the gear well now for the nose gear, and as you look up in here, you'll see several interesting things. These 2 black footballs on either side are the ADF antennas, which when this aircraft was designed in 1943 and 44, that was the primary means of navigation for these airplanes.
Here he comes, cranking her up. Listen to those cameras going click, 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 click down the line here.
We're standing in front of number 4 here on the Connie. The Connie has 4 engines. They're Curtiss-Wright 3350s, R3350s. The R stands for the fact that they're a radial engine as opposed to an inline engine. 3350 stands for the cubic displacement in inches. So this engine has 3,350 cubic inches displacement, and that produces 2,500 horsepower per engine. The prop, as you can see, is a pretty big prop, and these in fact are pretty rare props. These are Curtiss Electric hollow steel props. Each prop is just about 15 feet in diameter. A couple of things that are really the trademark of the Connie. One is the curved fuselage, the dolphin shape.
There you go, he's getting a position now. He's going to tip it right up on the left wingtip so you can good look at the aircraft. What a beautiful shot. Beautiful, beautiful shot. Is that a hard stop?
And then you get to the tail and you see the real trademark of the Connie, the 3 tails. This is the only large transport aircraft ever built with 3 tails. This aircraft was originally a cargo airplane. So what we're in the process of doing is we're building a museum for the Constellation. You can see along the left side we've got a lot of Connie memorabilia. These are some of the old ads and even some airline tickets from Eastern Airlines where they used the Connie. And we're putting a lot of mechanical devices to explain the airplane. One of our big acquisitions this year was this cutaway engine. This is a cutaway of the 3350. And it starts to give people some appreciation for the tremendous complexity of these engines and what it took to build and maintain this. Remember, you're looking at 30s technologies here. This engine was basically designed in the late 30s, 1938, 1939. What you're looking at here is the flight engineer's panel. And as you can see, this is actually the most complex part of the aircraft. This aircraft requires 3 crew members, pilot, co-pilot, and flight engineer. And it really is the flight engineer who flies the airplane. He manages all the engines, the systems, the hydraulics, the electrical system. Everything to do with operating the aircraft is managed from this position right here. Down along the panel here you can see we've got the throttles, superchargers, mixture controls, fuel levers, prop controls, fuel pumps, cooler flaps, carb air, and that's just the operations stuff. The way the pilots actually fly the airplane is by calling for power settings from the flight engineer. So the pilot rarely has his hands on the throttles. Generally the pilots don't take over the throttles until just at the last 100 or 200 feet above the ground. So it requires a real crew coordination effort to fly this airplane.
Gets her over the runway. Sets those mains down. Look at that. Reversing the props. Using the propellers as part of the braking action. And by golly, he's still down there ways before he gets that thing hauled down. And there you are. Connie, safe on the ground again.